Okay, welcome everyone to the People Speak Out. It's the 29th of December, so we're still in the festive season. Welcome to Val, Patricia, Karine, Lisa, Heinke, Philip. Lisa says hi from North Devon with a freezing cold emoji sign, and I say hi from South Devon and also with a freezing cold emoji sign, living here high up on the cliffs. The wind chill factor is massive. Hi to Wendy, who's just joined. Obviously, we're in between Christmas and the New Year, and I suspect people are busy with family and parties and doing festive things, maybe in preference to coming on this discussion forum. And I want to just apologise again for cancelling at short notice the last planned The People Speak Out, which I was supposed to be hosting on the 14th of December, 2 weeks ago. But I had a birthday weekend retreat here and everyone wanted to stay an extra night. So I had a house full of people and so it was all quite hectic. So apologies for that. And I just wanted to check in. I haven't actually spoken to Sass about this, but just checking in with you all that you still want us to continue with these sessions. They've been going since January. I started them in January 2021. So it's going to be 5 years in next month. So it's like that really is the long haul. And I talk a lot in A Dragon's Guide to Business about being a marathon runners rather than having firework energy. Lots of people have got firework energy, like big initial enthusiasm, which falls away very quickly. Whereas I've learned in business, you need to develop marathon runner energy. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Even though you maybe get to a point where you feel, I can't be bothered. It's actually very good practice to develop marathon runner energy, because that means you can keep going, keep going, keep going. So just wanted to say a couple of things before, and if you do want to come on and share, please do put the yellow hands up symbol up just to let me know that you want to speak. But I'll just do a little preamble just to set the scene. I just wanted to share, just talking about marathon runner energy. I got the new David Icke limited edition hardback of it's called The Roadmap: Escaping the Maze of Madness, and it's a limited edition, and I actually got number 12 of 100, which is my birthday's the 12th of the 12th, so very symbolic for me to get number 12. I don't know whether that was done on purpose or not, but I thought that was a really beautiful sign. To be honest, I haven't read much of it, but it's basically a roundup of everything that he has been through and all of his conspiracy theories. And it's actually quite an interesting book. I just haven't wanted to sort of lower my vibration into conspiracy theory content. I bought it mainly because it was a limited edition, and I thought, wow, it was 50, I think it was £50 or £55, but I thought that's going to increase in value. So I kind of bought it as a bit of a memento. But it's a great book, actually, just dipping into it. It's got lots of content and illustrations. And of course, Sass was at David Icke's first workshop. She's told this story before, but I share it on A Dragon's Guide to Business, about how after he was banished from the BBC and sort of thrown out of the Garden of Eden, shall we say, for speaking out on the Wogan show, he started to do workshops. And Sass went to his very first workshop and only 7 people turned up. And so I often think that these things are a cosmic test, because if you're really passionate about something and you really are dedicated to a cause, then actually the universe kind of sends you tests. Like, are you dedicated enough that even if only 7 people turn up, you're not just going to give it up and say, oh, let's not bother. He was so passionate and so determined, and he just kept going. And so the 7 grew to 70 to 700 to 7,000. I think he now fills Wembley Arena, and he's just whatever you may think of David Icke, just purely from someone who has got a conviction, not a criminal conviction, of course, a heartfelt, what should we say? What's a better word than conviction? You'll have to tell me. a passion, a desire, a message to share, just to keep going. So he's been going since the 1980s. So wow, that really is the long haul. I've also been absorbing a lot of Abraham Hicks over the past couple of months, actually, because since A Dragon's Guide to Business, the last program ended on the 5th of November, I've been into a bit of a because I've been on output for so many months, it was really nice to just go on input, to hibernate, to do a lot of inner work, and to absorb a lot of teachings, and to kind of replenish my tank, so to speak. And yeah, so I've been absorbing a lot of Abraham Hicks, and just focusing on the vibration of joy. And another great gift, you probably can't see this very well, but this came from Lynn Irvin, and it's one of the founders of the Love movement, and it's the Bob Moran book, which came out I think about a year ago, but it's basically all of his amazing cartoons. And it's just such an incredible book. And so I was just really tuning in once again to someone with a real passion for their creativity and sharing a message to the world. And of course, Bob Moran is a great activist. So it was really, really beautiful to receive. Oh, there's my neighbour bringing you out the bins. It's very sweet of him. It was very sweet to receive that from Lynn. So thank you, Lynn. So lots. It's really nice, having been on output for so many months, to be on input, and to absorb all of this amazing content. Sass is saying she's joining a little later, just in listening mode, as her two daughters have left the building to catch their trains home after Christmas. So yeah, we're still very much in the Christmas mode. I have felt like a little creature in deep hibernation. I've done lots of sleeping, lots of healing, lots of deep shamanic journeying, and it's been wonderful. But I'm starting to feel the energy rising as we have now moved past the solstice into the return of the light, and the days are starting to get longer again as we head to summer. So I'm really starting to feel that rising energy, which fully comes in really in Imbolc on the 1st of February. That's really when the real new year starts, in terms of shamanically and from a sort of pagan perspective and a nature perspective. So yeah, great to see you all. So please, if you do want to share what you've been doing over the festive season, and also maybe what are your intentions for 2026, because we're coming into the Fire Horse year. Now, interestingly, I was looking at this because the next A Dragon's Guide to Business starts on the new moon, which normally is when the Chinese New Year comes in. And so that's on the 19th of January. But actually, the Fire Horse year doesn't come in for another month. It's the next month after that, which is I think it's the 17th of February, 3 days after Valentine's Day. And so it's actually almost the latest that the Chinese New Year can start, because the snake energy is waning, and then the fire horse energy comes in, but not fully until the 17th of February. So it's actually quite late. But the fire horse, the horse is the animal of fire. It lives in the south. And so this being a fire horse year means it's double yang fire, which speaks to a huge amount of kind of rocket fuel, flame fired energy. And I really feel that we can expect 2026 to be very powerful, very yang fire, full steam ahead kind of energy. So I'm looking forward to that, to 2026, having been through a little bit of a bumpy ride over the past few years. So Wendy's got her hand up, so I'm going to stop rambling on, because Sass and I tend to ramble on unless people have their hand up, and then we stop rambling. So that's the way that you can get us to zip it. So I'm going to come to Wendy next, and who's that saying? Only 4 years left to obliterate Agenda 2030. Is that Kevin? Can't see who that is. Right, Wendy. That's just from the chat. Maybe JT. Who's JT? Oh, you haven't got your. Is that Jonathan? You haven't got your name on the screen. Anyway, I'm going to come to Wendy now. Maybe Jonathan, you want to come on and talk about that. So let's come to Wendy. Hey, hi, Wendy.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to say a couple of words about the fire horse. So I'm actually a fire horse. I was born in 1966. I know, yeah, so it's like, wow. But I'm also a Pisces, so it's like it's a bit of fire, water. But what's rather interesting is my grandmother was also a fire horse, and she was born in 1906. Because as you know, it takes 60 years to go all the way round. And she was quite a formidable lady, actually. She actually raised me from when I was 12 and my two sisters from when her daughter died of cancer from the beatings up that she'd had from my father, unfortunately. Um, so so I just wanted to say that and that I just adored my grandmother and what amazing work that she did bringing up three young girls. And she needed that fire horse energy to do what she did. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Thanks, Wendy. So you're 60 this March then, if you're
I am. Yeah,
Pisces, and
yeah.
so you're coming into your year of mastery. That is what they say is like when you get to 60, because it's you completed the cycle. It's you're stepping into your mastery, your wise woman, fully
Yeah,
in that, yeah, wise elder energy.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's going
yeah.
to be a wonderful year for you.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Certainly hope so.
And it's
It's
quite
been
nice to
a
have that combination of fire and water because they are the fire and water are the 63rd and 64th hexagrams in the I Ching, which is the final two, which is about the balance between fire and water, the blue and the red, which is it's actually quite Masonic if you think about it, like Labour and Conservative or Pepsi and
oh,
Coca-Cola. and
oh,
and so those two in balance, so the hexagram 63 is is uh, is water above fire, because water goes down and fire goes up, which is called after completion, and then they're reversed in hexagram 64. So you've got fire above water, so the water goes down and the fire goes up, which is called before completion, which means that things are not coming together. And so the combination between fire, yang fire, and yin water is actually, it's about mastery. So it's actually really beautiful to have those two elements. Yeah. So
yeah.
one of the things that I've been planning to do this summer in the Fire Horse month, of which is essentially June, 5th June to 5th July, so it's the summer
Okay.
solstice,
Yeah.
is to do a big event over in at Dartington Hall in the gardens, the tiered gardens there, which are built over this underground spring. So to put the fire of an event and energy and music and people
Oh, oh,
over the water. So basically essentially to create hexagram 64, a very
wow.
powerful activation to put fire above water or vice
Wow.
versa. So it's very
Brilliant.
interesting. Thank you for bringing that in. Little
Thank you.
blast of metaphysics there.
Yeah, loved
And
it. Thank you.
of course, when you blend the blue of the water and the red of the fire, you get purple, which is the crown chakra. So it's very symbolic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love that. Love that. Thank you.
cool. So wonderful. That's great that we've got a fire horse opening the show, giving us a little snippet of that energy. Um, and welcome to everyone who's joined. Hi to Conrad and Eileen and Karen and Sass is here now. Kevin, Sue, T. So the screen is filling up. So if anyone would like to speak, please do put your hand up, either the yellow hand up or just physically put your hand up as I can see it, everyone. Otherwise, it's just going to be me rambling on. Maybe let us know how you feel about us continuing these calls for another 5 years. Karine, let's come to you.
Oh, hello. Hello, I'm just really showing willing, putting my hand up, joining in. Very nice to see the cluster of people here. And thank you, Rachel, for holding this and Sass over the last 5 years, which is incredible, really. So, yeah, it would be nice. I do enjoy our times where we just share. And I think, it does seem that this coming year is going to also be a pretty big year for us all. So, it is very nice to have that connection, whether or not it would be once a month or, if it's too much to have it fortnightly. But anyway, no, I enjoy linking in. It feels important. I haven't really got anything special to say. I'm just living day by day, doing the best I can. For those of you who know Rory Duff, he was unable to come to the meditation that we do every quarter on a sacred node of the Michael Mary line because he's really not well. He had gone into hospital again. So if you know him, or if you don't know him, just send love. Because he is quite an extraordinary man and has given so much to everybody with his wisdom and knowledge of the earth. And he's just such a beautiful, gracious, humble man and so very, very wise. So, yeah, my thoughts have been with him a lot. I honestly don't think, I think I'm just sort of showing willing. I'm just holding to the light. I'm always glad when I can see that bit of sunlight coming up over Longleat woodland in the morning. That always feels like a great blessing to me. We don't get great sunsets where we live. We're at the bottom of a hill. But, it's always amazing to see that sun and know that so many of us are holding to the light right now and doing the best we can to keep our vibration high and generous and kind. So yeah, I mean, I think for me, I want to share more of my songs this year. Nick is going to notate them for me so we can, have the harmonies actually fixed on paper for people who like dots. And I want to share more of that because that is my love and it's my passion, and I'm increasingly doing more with my voice. So yeah, that's my intention. It's a bit scary
Cool.
actually, but I'm saying it really publicly now, so I'm going to share more of my songs and hopefully get more downloads this year.
Cool.
And I just really like to thank you, Rachel, and Sass. I know you're somewhere in the background, which I can't see on my screen, but yeah, thank you for holding this, and I wish you really all the best. And yeah, I'm going to mute myself now.
Cool. Thanks, Karine. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, from my point of view, I'm happy to host because obviously Sass and I do it every fortnight. So it's for me, it's 1 hour a month. Although there's a bit of admin around it, like sending out the reminders and the uploading the videos. But I'm happy to keep going. But I think with all these things, as long as there's enthusiasm for us to continue, then that's good. And as we've said before, if anyone else would like to offer to host, we're more than welcome to open that. If anyone else, because we did have Helen for a while, and it's quite good fun. So cool. Val's just raised her hand, so let's come to Val.
Hi. Oh, lower
Hi.
hand, yeah. Okay, hi. You can hear me, can't?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can really feel the energy of the galloping horse. And that's really great because it feels like, we've had quite a few years of being sort of stuck and struggling, and it's been very negative. I mean, still problems obviously out there, but it feels a lot better now. But it's interesting over Christmas, or certainly before Christmas anyway, I was getting this real strong sense that I don't know about anybody else, but I was feeling like I want to change how we view Christmas. I've been reading and listening to stuff about the origins of Christmas, and the pagan stuff around it. And more I'm realizing that, so much of it is layered lies or coercion or whatever. But not all of it, of course. So, a lot of the stuff that we celebrate is pagan, but just feeling like it needs to shift. It needs a kind of, I don't know, a big shift away from the whole commercial thing, which I've not liked for a long time, but really feels like a big kind of step needs to happen to change people's attitude towards it and the way we celebrate it. I suppose I'm feeling quite acutely this whole thing about a lot of our society is based around lack and frightening people, fear of losing out, isn't it, or something like that, or fear of missing out. And there's an awful lot of that around, and that's been particularly around Christmas as well. And this whole issue of, buying presents or not knowing what to get, and people rushing around and doing too much, and all of this feels like it's based around a sort of lack. And I'd really like to see that change, to kind of switch the other way somehow. I'm not quite clear about where I'm going with this, but I feel like it really needs a change. And by next year, I'm feeling like I want to see it differently, or I don't know, just have different ideas or celebrations around it. I don't know really how but that just feels, and maybe that's part of this horse energy. It's kind of wanting to change things at last, or and on another subject, yes, I love the meetings and I find them very supportive and great to come to, so please carry on if possible, and thank you both for hosting. So yes, I mean I still value them because my circle of friends has shrunk rather a lot. So you guys are quite important to me. Yeah, and I think also my feeling is that I do listen to people like Bashar and David Icke and so forth, and Bashar is saying that next year is going to be the first contact with our extraterrestrial family. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's been ongoing for a very long time, and I think it will make a huge difference. I'm not expecting them to save us, but I do think that once people begin to accept that they're there, it will make a huge difference. And I'm kind of ready for things to just fly off and start really galloping, actually, forward.
Isn't he a high? Are you talking about higher dimensional beings? Because isn't Bashar one of those like Abraham
Yeah,
Hicks?
yes.
It's like they're already there, and we are making we're aligning to that vibration.
Absolutely, yeah, Bashari. I think he's Esasani. I think he's a type of grey.
Okay.
But yes, the idea is that once enough of us on the planet have raised our frequency, then they can meet us. It's like a radio frequency. We have to be of a high enough frequency to meet them because they can't come down.
Yeah,
any
so what
lower.
you took like a quantum leap in evolution. So it's like the veil opens, and then we can connect with the higher dimensional beings more easily and more powerfully.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's already happening. I mean, my understanding is that certain people, not me, but certain people have got a very high frequency and perhaps they're already making contact. But for the general populace, it's going to start happening much more next year. So that's also an incentive to keep positive and keep working on with meditation and self-work and that sort of thing. So that's fine. I find inspiring. Yeah. So I'm kind of working towards that.
Cool.
That's it for me.
Thanks, Val. Thanks for coming on. So we've got Eileen and Karen with their hands up. So I'll come to Eileen first.
Am I on?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Hi,
good.
Eileen. Hi.
Good. I'm very well, thank you. I am housebound, so I have a whole new set of friends, which are mainly my carers, apart from my family. But I've been at home for a year now, and apart from going out for appointments, etc. But my carers have become my friends, and they're all nationalities, mainly Indians and African. But they're so lovely and they're so interesting, and I want to know all about them. So as I said, I'm a bit housebound, so I do appreciate that people speak out. I'm just wondering if maybe the daytime is not suitable for a lot of people that would like to become members. I do know there's lots of views afterwards. As soon as you put it up on YouTube, which I go to, hundreds of people are watching it, and I'm thinking, there must be people that would like to join in, but maybe, daytime Monday is probably not suitable for many of them.
Well, from my point of view, I go into sort of domestic mode at sort of 5 o'clock, and I don't tend to do evenings. And also, I have low blood pressure. My energy
Yeah.
levels drop.
Yeah.
So I personally, I won't take
No.
on or organize any Zoom calls
No,
in the
no,
evening.
that's understandable.
And I often find that if I'm attending one, I'm just really not energetically. But if anyone, I mean, I think actually didn't. His name will come to me in a second. One of our members started to do an evening one. Please jog my memory. Who was that?
I don't know. I don't do Telegram.
The guy who went to live in Ireland.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember him? I'm trying to think of his name. It will come to me. My mind is not as snappy as it used to be.
No, neither is mine. Is he on? Are you watching?
No, I don't think so.
No, not yet.
Someone remind me of his name. It will come to me in a sec.
Yeah.
But anyway, he did an experiment of doing this in the evenings, but I think he did it for a little while. Owen, yeah, it was Owen.
Oh.
He did it for a little while, and then I don't think he got much traction, so he decided not to. So
no, I mean, I probably personally wouldn't want to do evenings, but again, people have got family at weekends, haven't they? That's the difficulty. Is that people weekends they want to be with their family, not Zooming.
Yeah, and weekends aren't great for me. So
No.
that's why I'm happy to do it, but it would have to be, and 12 noon on a Monday works for me as well, because I just sort of I don't tend to organize much on a Monday. So,
no, I really enjoyed them, and I love hearing everybody's opinions on everything. It's friendship for me as well as other things. And
that's good to know, Eileen. And I didn't realize you were housebound, so sorry to hear that.
I am now. I've got a wheelchair to go out. Not much fun in that. I've been out unless I've had to, but maybe spring and summer I might, but I don't know. But I'm quite happy to be at home. Now we've got YouTube and all the the internet and everything. I think if I just had the main TV, I'd gone crackers.
Yeah.
But with YouTube, I mean, I can be at Speaker's Corner on a Sunday afternoon watching Heiko and drinking tea without the traffic. I used to go up there on the bus, and it's one of my big events of the sort of now and again, not every month, but now and again, to go up on the bus, because I live in the Croydon, the London area.
Yeah.
But for me, Christmas is all about the carols, and it's all about I do want to turn this around and see my greenery there. I'm not sure. I'm sure. Don't think you see that. I've been making up sort of greenery with little baubles on it and tinsel, so green and reds and everything.
Nice.
And I've got these artificial candles. I'm afraid you put the batteries in, but I've got candles. I love all that, and I love the sort of sentimental part of it. If I watch a lot of the morning programs on television, it's just so commercial now. It's just so commercial. So I just like the sort of, as I said, the carols and all the tradition, really, the traditional ancient traditions and everything. And so really enjoy Christmas. And I've got my son David coming next week. My other son is around all over Christmas anyway. So happy Christmas. I'm a bit late now. Season greetings to everybody, and especially you and Saz for holding these meetings. And I'm more than happy to carry on. And not much to say, but yes, I love them, and I love everybody here. Happy New Year to everybody.
Thanks, Eileen. We love you too, and thank you for your support you've been one of the regulars. So
Yeah,
it's
from the
great.
start.
Oh, wow. So you've been in here for the long haul too.
Yes,
Cool. Cool.
I was
Okay.
up and running then.
Okay, thank you for
Okay.
coming on. And you're so right about Christmas, because I caught myself, because I thought, oh my goodness, this Christmas tablecloth, I've been bringing it out every year for like, I don't know, 20, must have bought it 20 years ago or something. Just like, wow, I've just been doing the same thing on repeat, auto repeat, the same Christmas kind of format like that I did when I was a child. And like I've been doing this stuff for 60 years, like a program, like a deeply embedded program. And you're so right. It's like, why am I doing this insanity when it's not, it's so commercialized, and that's not what it's about. So interesting topic you've opened there. Okay, let's come to Karen. Hey, Karen. Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, listen, I also would like to carry on with this if it's possible. I think that, the sharing, the actual situation of people sort of pulling themselves up and speaking together about issues, I think is very important. I don't think we do it enough, really, but we should carry on doing it a bit. And I was watching on YouTube, or on the whatever we have here, and it was Prince Charles going out and says, "Oh, I'm doing my shopping," and you think to yourself, "What? How many servants does he?" I mean, it's like it's appalling how they're pretending to be normal people, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if you're going out to do your shopping, so to speak, why don't you do some shopping for all of us then, the whole bloody nation, and it never goes that far. He never actually goes that far to say, I know I'm wrong. I know I did this. I'll apologize. I'll sort of sort myself out, and we'll make sure you get everything you need, something like that. But he doesn't do it. So he just does his shopping. Anyway, that's me done.
It was quite interesting to hear the King's speech. Because I was listening on radio too to what.
Okay.
I think, was it? Anyway, for whatever reason, I happened to have the radio on, and I heard the King's speech, and it was so out of tune with.
Yeah.
So it's just like I could really feel the sort of rankle of, like, it's like a cog that is disconnected from the engine or something like that.
Well, it's this whole thing about, Prince, was it William, or not William, the other one?
Harry.
No, not even Harry.
Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew.
There's quite a long list developing, isn't there?
It really is. It's like, holy shite, what are we doing here? And I don't know what is going to happen when people sort of sit down and think, oh my God, I've pledged allegiance to this. I've done all of this. And, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder whether there'll be a big revolution or something. But, I'll be there with my flag up and saying, carry on. I shall be one of those odd people who says, I just want to love and light. I just want to be around when it happens.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, as you started there, about why doesn't he do it for the people? And you touched on the key point there, that the king really, in terms of power and common law, the purpose of the sovereign is to protect the rights of the people. And if he reverted to the truth of that role and stood with the people to defend against essentially what we've got, which is this whole World Economic Forum, big corporate takeover, Starmer, I mean, just like the insanity. I mean, it's interesting that he had to do the U-turn on the farmers. Yeah. And like the farmers had to take to the streets in their tractors and like invade Westminster to get him to do a U-turn, and all this stuff about digital ID. None of this was in the prospectus, the manifesto. So the people have been completely conned. The government, sorry, you've started me off here on politics. The government got in on like 20% of the people vote, less than 20% through this ridiculous first past the post system. So you've now got a government trying to bulldoze through policies which weren't even in the manifesto on less than 20% of the people. They don't have the mandate of the people. And actually, Charles should be actually, and maybe he did, maybe Charles did have a quiet word with Starmer and say, you're going to have to back down on this, because King Charles is a farmer and he's a landowner, and a lot of big landowners are very close to farmers because they have tenant farmers across their estates. So they have to keep the farmers happy, you know. So it's an interesting one. Anyway, Sass has got her hand up. Hooray! So you can take the strain, Sass, because I can let you speak like that's a good 10 minutes. How's your Christmas, darling?
I am just trying to take a breath as the last child with all her bowls and her flutes and her bags for the solstice. We're trying to shovel them all, and my other daughter with all her bags, into a Mini, which is so small. We couldn't even fit the dog in. My poor sister was going to help me out and take everybody to the station. I'm thinking, are you going to fit it in? You know, I'm going to have to take my car as well. So a little bit discombobulated, as Christmas always makes me feel. So it makes me laugh that when we do this, when I run the solstice ceremony, it's all about bringing in, you know, enveloping in the darkness, the soothing, relaxing time of going underneath, like all the elements of nature. They go into the darkness, they start to germinate and formulate and create in the darkness. And that's what we should be doing, really, isn't it? And instead, we are running around like headless chickens, most of us, trying to get the last minute shopping and make sure we've got that extra duck butter or whatever it is that you're going for, and queues outside. I mean, I get most of my stuff delivered, but on this occasion, there was lots of other things we used to get. So it's all very hectic. And you're thinking, really, it makes so much more sense, doesn't it, that the beginning of a new year is in April, which is when it was originally. The 1st of April was our new year, and it makes sense because all the spring, everything's coming to life. It makes so much more sense. So you can see we've been sort of completely hoodwinked, which is why it feels so out of sync. I don't know if anybody else, it feels out of sync with the time of the year to be running around doing loads of things. We're supposed to be taking easy, calming, relaxing. And on top of that, last time I think I was hosting, I explained I had a really sort of agonizing foot complaint, which I didn't know what it was. Anyway, it turns out that I'd broken my foot and my toes and the side of my foot back in September, having a little fall down the stairs and sort of managing to right myself, but at the same time going over on my foot. I didn't think anything of it at the time, just thought, ow, that really hurt. Said a few expletives, and then rubbed it and thought, oh, it's fine, and carried on walking. And then I ended up walking around Sardinia, going up mountains, up and down, and then from an x-ray it says you've broken your foot and your toes, and because you've been walking around, not taking that into consideration, you've now got massive tissue damage. So that's why it was so much agony. So trying to do Christmas with, it seems like all the energy of my sort of lineage, whatever karmic catastrophes we had with this, it seems like it's all moved in to my foot area, into my little toe. It's all trying to make its way out. It's pulsating and it's just really, really painful and agitated. So trying to do that and have loads of people around you and go, watch my foot, oh my goodness, the worst time to have people around squeezing past you and the Christmas tree and the Christmas presents. And it is absolutely hilarious if you look at it from a helicopter point of view. And I think one of my new workshops for the new year is bringing out people's trauma and all the dramas they experience, but finding the humor in it, because we are in a movie after all. And a lot of mine is mixed with tragedy, with complete comedy, drama. And I'm sure if you look at your own life, it is a movie that is quite entertaining if you're not involved in it emotionally. But I'm not very good with pain. I am good with pain, but I have to express it. That's why I'm a sound person, because that brings the endorphin. So it's quite a few expletives as people have leant on my foot not realizing, or just gone unconscious. And I said, well, maybe it's a gift to help us become more aware, but more present, more totally and utterly in tune with what's going on around you. So even though I'm the one that's got the broken foot, I'm taking one for the team, for the whole family because it's a collective trauma. That's what it feels like. It's all focused on that. So I've had a really interesting time. Still done loads of things, and but I was told I have to rest it, otherwise it's not going to heal. So I've been limping along, and actually, when you're somebody who's normally in flow with everything and really happy to be, joyous, it sort of stole a lot of my joy because the pain I was in. So I didn't really like that side of me. But it's interesting because obviously it's the shadow side. When you're in pain, quite often those parts of yourself that are unhealed come out. And it's quite shocking, really, because you think, oh my God, the amount of swear words I've used and the way that I'm being is not really what I see myself as. But obviously there are aspects of me in that. So it's given me a lot of reflection, a lot of insight, and just completely changing the subject. It's my ADHD. I go from one thing to another. And so in mid-conversation, I'll bring in something else. And people go, what? What's that? Apropos of nothing? That's completely random. So I don't know if anybody else has that. It's like a neurodivergent brain that's always constantly scanning and sort of bringing in different subjects and topics. But when you were talking about Prince Charles and what's going on in the outer world, which obviously is quite often a reflection of what's going on in your inner world. So it's quite toxic and painful at the moment, the outer world for me. But in 1972, we were taken into the common market by Edward Heath. And it was, as a sovereign nation, that was actually unconstitutional. It was actually seen as treasonous because the people weren't involved in that. It was we didn't have a vote like with the European Union. We were actually taken in there. And so anything from that day on, from 1972, is completely null and void. So any of the legislation, any of the statutes, any of the acts that they brought in have no weight and no bearing. And of course, there are people in the background that are turning all this over now, like world marshals are turning it all over and asking, with bonds that they've got, to give back the money that's been stolen from us for many, many hundreds of years from all your hardworking ancestors. The money's been taken off us, and actually it's been unconstitutional for a long, long time. So I really feel that there's going to be a collapse of the old monetary system this year, probably over the next 8 weeks. I know I'm sticking my neck out, but I feel as if it's bubbling up. And the royal family, I don't know if you've noticed, but they've retracted a lot. They've sort of gone much more into the background. I know they sort of come out, they've sort of wheeled out at certain times like Christmas. But I don't actually feel as if they're not sovereign themselves. They are under the control and auspices of what they call the crown. So you've got the crown, the Vatican, and the sort of war machinery of Washington. And they're three separate countries that are being controlling the spiritual, the financial, and the sort of military might, if you like. And that is now been up. It's all been challenged. And so there's a huge amount of chaos going on in the background, which may obviously spill out onto our lives, which is obviously going to. But if I just say to you to hang on, because they're going to what's the word? It's like Robin Hood is going to be robbing the rich and giving it back to the poor. So I can see that a lot of people are going to go into abundance. I did hear they're called world marshals. They've taken billions of pounds back, and they said they're going to replenish everybody over 18's account with £8,300 a month. So for however long until they reach. So I think there's going to be a lot of a turnaround. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it, though, to see people who deep poverty, everybody turning around and having a lot more abundance, how that's going to change the situation. Because if everybody's a millionaire, let's just say, how's that going to affect all our services, people collecting the bins, people working in the hospital, working in schools? I mean, how many here? I don't know. It's interesting because I suppose if you're following your heart and doing your vocation, would you do it whether you have money or not, whether you do it money? I mean, I've been on this, route for sort of 30 years, and a lot of it hasn't been particularly well paid, but I've still stuck in there because I feel it's my purpose to do what I'm doing. And I don't think no matter how much money I had, that would change. In fact, I could do a lot more because you can help a lot more people. But how many of you do you think would have carried on doing the jobs that you did or the work that you did if you had unimaginable wealth? How would that have changed the whole sort of the whole paradigm of the way that we live? So I think that's what's going to be coming in this year is a complete turnaround of people's financial situations. Sorry, go on, Rachel. I can see you
Sorry.
mustering up.
No, I was going to mention I did see that World Marshall video that you're talking about, and I didn't actually share it because I was tuning into it, and the resonance of it. It felt like it didn't feel truth to me, so I didn't share it. I just sort of tune in.
But
Yeah.
as they were saying, I think they were really putting the neck on the line because they were making declarations
Yeah.
that saying this is absolutely 100% true, and you'll be able to see it. I mean, you have to be really sure of yourself to be able to put that out, don't you? But I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. But there's so many different organizations. Like
Yeah.
I'm a member of the Global Family Group, and the judge in America that's sorting. She's managed over 40 years to set up a whole new unincorporated banking, where it's all based on credit. There is no debt or credit, and people are credited 5,000 of these gold, backed by gold. So a lot of the monetary system is going to be backed by gold. Otherwise, it's going to collapse because everything's based on promissory notes, on promises. Like if you look at all your notes, they're all about I promise to pay the bearer of this note. And so if everybody decides to ask for those notes to be honoured with the actual cash behind it or the gold behind it, because it's not backed by anything, it's all going to collapse, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel is what's going to happen. And then true wealth, which is real, actual access, actually solidity, is the gold and silver, which is actually. But the thing is, even if you have loads of gold and silver, if there's no food, it's not going to be worth anything, is it?
Yeah. On a different subject, Sass, going back to your toe, you know, we had Althea Finch of the Pain-Free Method on a week or a few weeks ago. She's actually doing either a show or a broadcast, some kind of interview for Clear Air FM, which is the light paper radio station.
Yes.
And I don't know if she's been in touch with you because she's looking for guests to interview who've got pain, who want to be taken through her method to share it with a wider audience. And I suggested that you would be a good.
Yeah, well, that's a very good suggestion. I mean, I have been, obviously, what's kept it. I mean, most people would have been on very high painkillers, but I just actually toning into the toe. Whenever I do breath work or toning, it does bring the inflammation down. But there's obviously something there that it feels like it's something from very, very heavy from a very past.
Yes, and that's the kind of how she kind of goes into the pain. It's quite an interesting method, and so it might be a fun thing for you to actually join her on the show. And
as you know, you did an interview with her, and so did I when I met her at the Light Festival up in Cumbria in the summer.
Yeah.
And so I did an interview with her about my sound journey. But sometimes there are things that you've got to sort of work through, and that is a very good way because I have been doing a little bit of what she's been saying because she was on last time that I was here.
Yeah.
So it's good. So if anybody else has any, I mean, I've not really had any sort of severe physical pain before, so it's a new one on me, and it's bringing out things that aren't necessarily my greatest side, but it's interesting to see what's there because they say, don't they, when you squeeze somebody really hard, then the juice will come out. The some of your true nature, maybe it's just hidden. So it's given me a good insight. So it's been a really interesting Christmas. I think it's going to be an even more interesting New Year.
Cool.
So were you saying at the beginning about? I've noticed some people were saying, they want to keep going. Were you sort of questioning whether we should continue with this?
I was just tuning in with everyone because we've been going for 5 years, Sass. We started in January 2021. So I think it's the 20th of January 2021. So on the 20th of January, it will be 5 years.
5 years. Wow, that's quite a feat, isn't it?
It's a long haul.
Did you mention anything about your gathering that you had? Was there any insights going on there, or is that it quietly in the background that you're not talking about?
What, my retreat?
Yeah.
My birthday retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just did some deep shamanic journeying. And it was just really beautiful. I actually went deep because after Sam, I'll come to you in a sec, Roger, and then we'll come back to Karen. Just to say, after the Dragon's Guide to Business September journey finished, which finished on the 5th of November, and I'd gone very deep in Samhain into some quite some beautiful revelations. And it was like after Samhain, that period between Samhain and the winter solstice is like going into the dark of the moon, isn't it? It's like the dark of the sun. And so to actually do some deep shamanic journeying on the 12th of the 12th that weekend was and I really I unearthed some really juicy shadow stuff, shall we say, around my mother, which was hiding, and it wasn't in my conscious awareness. And it's really interesting how when this stuff bubbles up from the depths of the darkness into the light, and you can go, oh my God, I've been living that for 60 years, and it was hiding there in the shadow, and now I can see it and I can release it. It was really a beautiful alchemy, actually. I feel it was almost like a weight had lifted that I didn't even know that I was carrying. So it's very amazing, this deep shamanic journeying work. I think it's very important shadow work, because otherwise you're just burying stuff under layers of love and light.
Yes, exactly. That's what I always say.
But when you actually go in and just clear out the drain, and then everything can flow, it's like that.
Absolutely, yeah. So I feel like maybe a lot of people go through a similar sort of journey.
Yeah.
I see you've got two people queuing up
Yes.
to speak, so I will hold back whilst you listen to Roger again. And it's lovely to see you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Sass.
You're welcome.
Great. I think that was probably more than 10 minutes. Thank you for coming on. And Sass will be hosting in two weeks' time, yes? Hopefully. And Rog, let's come to you.
Yeah, okay. Firstly, I'd just like to say I'm saddened to learn of Sass's foot problem. I'm sure it's been very painful, and especially at night, when you've got these kind of complaints, it's difficult to sleep. So everything she said I agree with, except Heath treasonously signed the EEC Act on the 1st of January 1973. So it was not 1972. And I agree, all legislation since January 1st, 1973 is null and void.
Well, it's all unlawful anyway, isn't it, Rog, really? All legislation.
It is, but that just, emphasises our claim that it's all unlawful. Yeah. And I just want to tell everybody that I've written to my so-called electricity supplier, which is called E.ON Next, telling them that unless I get an affidavit signed by the CEO saying that my money I pay for VAT it will not be used for illegal warfare, which is, I'm sure, what they're doing now with Israel. They're sending money to Israel. Not only that, they're helping the genocidal war effort of Netanyahu by flying planes for reconnaissance out of our airbase. I'm saying our, it's not our really, because I'm not past the UK, I'm English. But anyway, you understand what I'm saying. So they're flying RAF planes to help the genocide of Israel out of Akrotiri in Cyprus. So, those are very expensive assets. And I have no intention of funding the Israeli genocide of the Palestinians. I've told them that. And the last email I got from them says that they call it a complaint. It's not really, but anyway, they say your complaint is now deadlocked. So we put it through to another department. I think it'll be deadlocked for a long time because they're not going to bloody get out of this one. I'm not on a moral basis. I'm not talking about just, legal, lawful. On a moral basis, I
Yes.
refuse to finance this illegal genocide of the Palestinians. Why should I? You see,
Yeah.
it's the only thing I can choose to do with regard to VAT. There's VAT on many things that I buy, but I have no discernment as to whether I pay that or not. If I want those goods or services, I've got to pay VAT. I can't avoid it. I have no discretion. But I have with the electricity bill. It's
Yeah.
the only thing I have. Because I'm on pension credit, I don't pay council tax, so I can't refuse to pay that. And I must say, if I was to pay council tax, I would desist from so doing, as I think it's no secret that well, anyway, I won't say anything about your affairs, but I know where you're coming from anyway. Okay, Rachel. Well, that's all I've got to say for the moment. Nothing more.
Thanks, Raj. Good
That was enough.
to see you. Good to hear from you. Thanks for coming on.
Well, it's nice to see you.
Cool. I'm just conscious of time, so let's come to Karen, and Sass might want to have the last word.
Okay.
Thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm sorry that I got cut off last time. I don't know why, but my whole system just went boof, and that
Oh.
was it. Unbelievable. And I find that keeps happening no matter, like, once you get into the right thing. I was talking about this bloody Prince Charles, getting his shopping, that sort of stuff, trying to be a regular person, I mean, it's like, Jesus, I can't believe that. But I know we were right in the middle of talking about something which sounded very interesting. But, the fact is, when this happens, the whole of my system boots out. It's almost like I think I
You're
can
being
hear
monitored by GCHQ.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, by somebody else. But, in going back to what was just said, I really feel that it's going to be very difficult because we're getting more conscious about what's going on, many people, and we'll see that we can't really do anything about this. We can't really do much about VAT or, council tax and all this. I mean, I know we can a bit, but, the fact is, it's hard to navigate around all of this. And it's, you're participating in the hypocrisy of it all, yet you feel you have to. Because if you want that thing, you better do this.
There are a lot of people who are saying no, though, aren't there? Like on the council tax, like thousands and thousands of people, and doing the whole Chris Coverdale trust thing. Like, I will pay it into trust if you can prove that it's not used for nefarious purposes. And so many people standing up against all these things. So I think there is a huge wave of people who are saying enough. I've had enough.
Wow, that's great, because I'm not going to pay my taxes this year, so I might be in jail by the next time.
Well,
but never mind.
I've come to the same conclusion because I've been very compliant for like my whole life, and
Yeah,
I've
me
got to the
too.
point where no, I'm not doing it. I'm not playing this game anymore.
Yep.
I've paid so much, and I've created so many jobs over the years, and paid so much in companies and corporation tax and PAYE, employers' national insurance, VAT, like probably millions.
But they know, the thing is that the powers that be know this. I mean, we are so paying for everything.
Well, we've been obediently compliant for many
Exactly,
years,
and
I think
that's
there's
why.
enough people now who are actually saying, no, I'm not going along with this bullshit, because it's just a
Okay.
social contract, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. Okay,
Yeah.
good for you. Listen, I won't keep you because I feel, we got to move on, I suppose. But, I really didn't want to get cut off, but I got cut off.
Oh, well,
So,
luckily you didn't this time by the
no,
GCHQ. Maybe they just gone on their
I
dinner
know.
lunch break.
Yeah. Or perhaps they've just gone on a toilet break or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Karen. And we'll just give the last word to Sass, who's got her hand up, and then we'll come to a close. Hey, Sass.
Yeah, thank you. So lovely. Yeah. So just saying, I'm doing the same as Roger. Lots of deeds of trust for council tax, for all your bills, everything else. Just saying you're not, you're not paying, but you're just holding it in situ until they can prove that they're not spending it on terrorism, and they can't do that. But just thought it'd be lovely. I was just having a word with my daughter, who's in Canada at the moment. She was in a hot tub in a place called Vernon, overlooking a lake, and she said, "Oh, how was Christmas? Because they're 10 hours behind." So I said to her, "Oh, I got a beautiful gift from a friend of mine, which I'll show you here, which is this beautiful sort of shamanic eagle with a crystal on it." And
Nice.
just as I was showing her, like, she had this beautiful, she said, "Oh my goodness!" And above them, circling, was this massive eagle over the hot
Ah,
tub. Just as I was showing her this, and it's like a thing you can tell that things are synchronizing, things are lining up, things are becoming into resonance.
yeah.
And anything out of resonance is what your new sort of way forward. Like my foot is obviously, it's just to show me the remnants of what's not in alignment with my own truth. So sometimes it comes in
Yes.
pain. Some people have, so it's all about
That's
how.
exactly it. Yes. So
Yeah,
if this is the Abraham Hicks thing, are you feeling good or are you feeling bad? Because if there's something bad, it's not bad. It's a message. So that's why
yes,
Althea says pain is a message that wants to be
is,
heard, and that isn't just physical pain, but it's emotional pain, mental pain. So it's like what's out of alignment. Because as Abraham Hicks says, there's just one source of love, flow, vitality, and are you aligned to it? Are you pinched off from it? And so it's like, how are we
it shows you where you're not in
pinching
alignment.
ourselves off from the flow? That there is just one flow of source energy. So how have we moved out of alignment, and how can we get back into full health, healing, full flow, basically?
Or in my case, how are you going to step into your new paradigm without any resistance? It's all showing
Or
up. It's
maybe
like,
you're being called into that stillness, Sass. So
also as well. So if I've had to sit down where everyone's done loads of things around me, it feels really uncomfortable because you feel like you're being a lazy slob. But in fact, and my daughter, my own one in Canada, keeps saying, "Mum, it's just God's asking you to come into stillness."
yes,
So you can
I think
receive.
he is. She is.
Yeah, she is. So just a little message about about moving. If you have any pain, emotional, mental, physical, it's just actually to go into it and ask what the message is, because everything's here for a reason. And even though obviously none of us want pain, it's the only way sometimes some of us actually stop is when we have pain, because otherwise you just continue going on and maybe
Yeah.
not recognizing those parts of us that need to be brought up to speed or need that attention for healing. So with that, I just wish everyone a beautiful rest of festivities and an exciting, explorative and expansive 2026. It's a new beginning, isn't it? Because we've come to the end of a cycle, many cycles, but this one is a 9-year cycle. So 2025 was the year of 9, about
Yeah.
completion, about bringing things to a close, and then the new is the year of 1. So it's all about new beginnings and new starts. So just where would you like to, what would you like to claim for this new year? What would you like to expand into? So something to think of over the next few days, which is our sort of restorative and
Yeah.
time for reflection. So lots of love to everyone. Thank you so much, Rachel, for hosting this in this chaotic moment time when you may have some quiet in your house, but I certainly haven't mine. But it's all been great. So
Cool.
thank you everyone for all your attention over the year, and look forward to seeing you in the year 2026, or in a couple of weeks I'll be hosting. So
Cool.
hopefully see you all then. Lots
Okay.
of love.
Thanks,
Rach.
Sass. Thanks for coming on. And I'm going to give the last word to Rog, who's got his hand up. Are you wanting to say something, Rog? No? Yes?
Yeah, I forgot to say that the managing director, the CEO of Eon Next, is guilty of contravening the Accessories and Abettors Act 1871 by funding illegal warfare of Israel. And I've made that clear to him that, or at least I've, sent an email to his staff, which I hope he will look at, telling him that he's almost certainly guilty of that. And also, I've told them that I'm not going to be coerced into contravening that act myself. They have no right. They have no right to tell me to break the law. How can they do that?
Well, let's hope he's not into common law and hasn't been watching all your common law stuff.
I want
'cause
you to say.
he might be requiring a trial by jury and sort of saying.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like on the one hand, no, we legislation is unlawful, but then, oh, but you're contravening such and such an act of such and such. So the whole thing is bullshit. I mean, basically, is the guy causing harm, injury, or loss to the people? And the answer is yes. So he should be found guilty by the people, or at least
yes,
tried by a trial by jury, and let him have a fair trial by the people. And if 12 of his fellow men and man and woman find him guilty, then he should be held to account for causing harm, injury, or loss. And it is loss in terms of we're being asked to pay for this energy, which we actually already owned. I think E.ON, wasn't that born out of the whole national grid? We the people owned and paid for it. So it's
I'm sure.
Why should a corporate company now charging us crazy amounts of money for something that we the people already owned?
Absolutely.
So we're kind of going down into this rabbit hole of questioning everything. So thanks, Rog. Thanks for completing. I'm going to end there because I've got to get going myself.
I just wanted also to mention that I told the girl's name is Zena that she ought to consider her own position, because she is, by doing the work that she's doing, complicit also in contravening the same act.
Yeah, you should have told her she's a servant of Satan. See how that goes down.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
absolutely.
Rog, I must call it to an end. So thank you for coming on and ending with that. So lots of love. And thank you, everyone, for coming on. Give us a wave so I can use it as the screenshot. Love and freedom, says Eileen. That's great. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time, where Sass will be hosting. So sending you lots of love. Have a wonderful 2026 New Year celebration. And we'll see you on the other side. Lots of love. Bye for now.